164. Spend money for the strong, spend it hard for him. Some people join those well-known law firms, and you plan to train these descendants to become lawyers of the Hun Tian Great Thousand World. Although there are some laws in the Hun Tian Great Thousand World, the lawyers of Hun Tian are different from lawyers in ordinary worlds. The lawyers of the Hun Tian Great Thousand World emphasize that they will quietly discuss laws and reason with you. If you don't understand, then. We also know a little about martial arts, and if it really doesn't work, we can actually resort to humanitarian destruction. It's a transcendent world, and if lawyers can't reason with you, then they'll bring out the truth and let the truth reason with you. Let's see if you listen. Some people are sent to the Hun Tian Mall to become internal sales personnel and internal management personnel. Some are sent to the Hun Tian Arena to become staff members, responsible for matters related to competitive matches. Some are sent to the news station, intending to gradually train them into well-known reporters to travel to various worlds and Dao domains to search for news. Some are sent to the Hun Tian Hall to become low-level managers, which are the managers of those who handle ID cards for others, and so on. However, many top-tier major forces are established by powerhouses above the 13th order in the Hun Tian Great Thousand World. You send that many people into these forces, starting slowly from a low-level manager. Let the influence of the Chu family, with you as the central tree, be like tiny roots extending and deepening in all directions, connecting one root after another, like a spider web. Rooted in the bodies of these forces, absorbing their nutrients to nourish your tree. One day, when all the major forces in the Hun Tian Great Thousand World have your family's descendants reaching the middle or even high levels, then your Chu family will already be a towering tree in the Hun Tian Great Thousand World, and will already be considered a major force. No matter what you want to do, you will have a green light all the way. People from your family and all major forces will contribute. Even for matters concerning the future direction of the Hun Tian Great Thousand World, the major forces in the Hun Tian Great Thousand World will invite you to participate and discuss the future of the major thousand worlds together, deciding the fate of countless 7th Order, 8th Order, 9th Order, 10th Order, and 11th Order powerhouses. Of course, besides your family's descendants needing to work hard, you are the one who needs to work the hardest. In the major thousand worlds, besides looking at the forces you possess, it also depends on the strength of the master of that force. When your strength reaches the 13th Order, even without these things, even if you have no force or anyone behind you, the powerhouses of the major thousand worlds will invite you to participate in discussions. Because you alone are already a major force. No decision can be directly promulgated without bypassing a 13th Order existence. It's 50%. It's already half. Only about half more is needed to completely comprehend the minor indestructible Tao power. It hasn't even been 3,000 years since I broke through the 9th Order. To break through in such a short time, I am truly a genius. Compared to me, others are truly idiots among idiots. They've cultivated for who knows how many hundreds of millions of years and still haven't broken through, or even have no possibility of breaking through in their entire lives. And me, I can break through in a few thousand years at most, truly a genius like me. How can I be so talented? Really, I'm even jealous of myself. Once again opening his eyes from the great Tao pavilion, 5th Chu he felt his minor indestructible Tao power, already in a state of transformation, and truly felt a bit lightheaded now. But there was no way around it. He was just that invincible. A realm that others can't break through in a lifetime, you've rapidly cleared it in a few thousand years. Isn't that worth a little bit of feeling lightheaded? Even ordinary people would feel lightheaded, let alone you. That's the 10th Order realm. Chu He's shameless version. Indeed, a genius like me, able to break through a major realm in a few thousand years, and it's even the 10th Order realm, except for those idiots who rely on a large amount of cultivation resources to cultivate. Relying on myself, to have such speed, is absolutely unique among all the surrounding major thousand worlds. Of course, the system's role in this is also a little bit, but the system is also part of my talent, also part of my genius. Without me using the system cannot make me stronger. So, ultimately, having such strength is still due to my own efforts to become stronger, still due to my supreme wisdom and supreme talent. The system merely provides a little help on my path to becoming stronger. Continue to accelerate the pace of invading worlds. Recently, I don't know why, but the Hun Tian Great Thousand World seems to have given greater cultivation efforts to potential cultivators like me. Many Hun Tian commanders whose strength can reach the 10-star level have gained many benefits during this period. For example, I am now ranked among the top 10 on the Hun Tian Commander leaderboard. The fixed quota of 10 same-level heavenly materials and earthly treasures every 100 years has been increased tenfold, becoming 100 or so every 100 years. Although the cultivation time in the Great Tao Pavilion has not changed, in the Hun Tian Mall, many 10-star Hun Tian commanders purchasing cultivation resources for comprehending the Tao and cultivation time in the Great Tao Pavilion receive a 10% discount. This discount is already significant. After all, cultivation resources of this level, even the cheapest, cost hundreds of trillions of Hun Tian gold or more. A 10% discount means you can buy thousands of early minor thousand world-level worlds. This situation, why does it feel like something big is about to happen? But in the virtual world, there's no other movement at all. Everything is very calm, nothing has been revealed, it doesn't seem like something big is about to happen. Moreover, I know the future. The last time forth was in the time period 10,000 years after my present. I didn't hear of anything big happening then. I must be overthinking it. After praising himself again, you calmed your emotions, stood up, and thought about some things that had happened recently in the Hun Tian Great Thousand World, unable to help but let your thoughts wander. But in the end, you still felt you were overthinking it. You fantasize too much. People shouldn't overimagine, otherwise, simple things become more and more complicated the more you think about them. Perhaps things are not as complicated as you think, and it's even possible that the powerhouses in the Hun Tian Great Thousand World suddenly got rich somewhere, have too much money to spend, and prefer to share the joy rather than enjoy it alone, so they simply subsidize talented people and let you and others spend it for them. Thinking this way, isn't this possibility even greater? If this is truly the case, then there's no need to say more. You must spend it generously for him. Otherwise, this opportunity would truly be wasted. However, even though it was thought that some powerful individual had gotten rich, that person particularly disliked money. What he liked to do most was to ask others to help him spend his own money. The more others helped him spend, the happier, more excited, and more joyful this powerful individual became. But you still had a bad premonition. Since you had even a slight premonition, you felt that if necessary, you should invade worlds at a faster pace and increase your strength as quickly as possible. You also planned to visit the Light God world, which had killed you, in over 10,000 years. You only needed a few thousand years to break through to the 10th tier realm. Moreover, once you broke through, you would definitely be the most top-tier existence at the same level, possessing invincible dominance. With such powerful strength, going to see the situation in the Light God world would naturally not result in any accidents. The Light Supreme God of the Light God world. It was already his limit to possess a one-time method that could unleash an attack at the level of a 10th-tier powerful individual. If he had a method to kill a top-tier 10th-tier existence, he would have long since stopped wandering in a peak small thousand world. He would have long since run to other middle thousand worlds to reign supreme. Gathering your Hun Tian army. You casually found a half-step middle thousand worlds on the taskbar, and immediately led all your Hun Tian army to prepare to invade this world. Fifth brother, you guessed wrong. The Hun Tian Great Thousand World is indeed about to make a big move, but it doesn't want the people in the ancient God Great Thousand World to notice anything unusual. This big move is very subtle. If you don't become stronger quickly, you might become cannon fodder on the battlefield. After all, at that level, even 14th tier powerful individuals can fall on the battlefield. Even breaking through to the 10th tier realm is just cannon fodder, and even the 13th tier realm can't do much or determine the true direction of the war on such a battlefield. Only battles between 14th tier powerful individuals can determine the true direction of the war. It's just unknown how the Nightmare Great World, the Hun Tian Great Thousand World, and these major thousand worlds will kill 14th tier existences of the same level. Didn't the simulator say before? It's already very difficult for anyone at the same level to harm 13th tier existences. Is it difficult for anyone to kill them? As long as the power is not capable of instantly obliterating a powerful individual of the same level, then such an existence will not die. Even if millions of 13th tier individuals fight one, he will not die. Because even if they are severely wounded and on the verge of death in an instant, they can recover to their peak in the next instant. If a 13th tier individual can't be killed, can a 14th tier individual be killed? I don't know what methods these people have to target powerful individuals of the same level. I don't understand. I really don't understand. Chu He, outside the simulator, showed no surprise when he saw that fifth brother had not noticed the truly unusual aspect of the Hun Tian Great Thousand World. Because to be able to perceive that the Hun Tian Great Thousand World was about to launch an attack on other major thousand worlds through this minor unusual situation, someone who could think of this was too imaginative. His brain structure was too peculiar. Even the smartest person could not think of so much just by a slight improvement in treatment. It was normal not to think of it, but Chu He, who knew the specific situation, truly understood what would happen later. Less than 500,000 years remained. It was unknown whether this remaining time would be enough for fifth brother to achieve the 11th tier realm. If he could achieve it, perhaps he could directly achieve the 12th tier through this magnificent battle. If he accidentally achieved the 13th tier realm, then. At the same time, while you continued to diligently invade worlds, the Nightmare Great World and the dozen or so major thousand worlds that it had sought help from behind it were already secretly preparing for the invasion 500,000 years later. Various strategic materials began to be prepared under the occasional attention of some 13th tier powerful individuals. These strategic materials were for the generous rewards of meritorious officials after the invasion. Among them were many heavenly materials and earthly treasures that were useful even to some 13th tier and 14th tier powerful individuals. For example, there was a precious heaven and earth oddity brought out by the Hun Tian Hall master. Heaven and earth oddities, especially those with the attributes of the supreme grand Tao. These treasures are the true ultimate treasures of all heavens and myriad realms. Any family, any world, any force that obtains one, as long as it is not snatched away by others, then this force will be able to continuously produce existences above the 13th tier. It is even no exaggeration to say that if someone in a middle thousand worlds obtains a heaven and earth oddity, that world immediately has the possibility of becoming a major thousand worlds, and it is a high probability of success. High probability. Not a low probability, not a slight probability, but a high probability or even a certainty of success as long as it is obtained. Because the effects of these treasures are too miraculous. Among the hundreds of major thousand worlds around, there is one major thousand worlds whose people are particularly annoying and unreasonable. That major thousand worlds is called the eternal, undying major thousand worlds. It contains a heaven and earth oddity with the characteristic of the undying grand Tao. The effect of this treasure directly blesses the entire major thousand worlds, making everyone born in this major thousand worlds possess the characteristic of immortality. It's like the fourth calamity. No matter if they are killed outside the world, their souls are obliterated, or their bodies are destroyed by others, even if their true spirits are extinguished and their traces are erased, even if a first-tier ant is killed by a 10th-tier powerful individual. The people in this major thousand worlds will not die. They will revive and recover in this major thousand worlds, and all negative damage suffered before death will also be eliminated. That's how awesome it is. A first-tier realm possessing the characteristics of a 13th-tier powerful individual. If it weren't for the fact that everyone at higher realms is the same, and does not become stronger at higher realms due to the heaven and earth oddity, this major thousand worlds would have long since unified the surroundings. As for the several major thousand worlds behind the ancient god Great Thousand World on the other side, they are not preparing so early. They are planning to make a move in 1 million years. There are still 1 million years, so there's no need to make so many preparations so early. What's the rush? Is there money to be picked up? If the movements are too big, the nightmare Great World might find out, and by then, the idea of a sneak attack will only fall through. The 9th millennium of joining the Hun Tian army. Your comprehension of the minor indestructible Tao has exceeded 90%, just about 10% more, and you will be able to fully comprehend the minor Tao and become a 10th-tier existence. As your invasion of worlds became easier, the visible improvement in your comprehension of the minor Tao, along with your terrifying combat power, made more and more people want to invest in you. But unfortunately, you had long since stopped accepting investments. Their investments had too little effect on you. The most anyone invested was just over 1 trillion Hun Tian gold, which is equivalent to 3 or 4 natural treasures that enhance minor Tao comprehension. These things are useful to you, but you don't need them. When you lacked these things and there were no world invasions, these people didn't come. Now you don't lack world invasions and are about to break through, so what's the point of these people coming now? Forget about providing help in times of need. It's not even adding flowers to a brocade. Today, if you look down on me and don't invest in me, tomorrow I will break through and make you unable to reach me. I won't even let you invest in me. No other reason, it's purely because you don't deserve it. I just feel like you don't deserve it. On this day, you invaded another world. This world was also a semi-small chiliocosm, considered relatively rich in resources, with 2,000 ninth-tier cultivators within the entire world. You originally thought this world was an ordinary semi-small chiliocosm, but after you invaded, you no longer thought so, because among these 2,000 same-tier existences, there were several 8-star existences, and one whose strength reached the 9-star level. For such a world, even an ordinary 10-star cultivator would need to spend some time and suffer certain casualties to conquer it. This was clearly not right, because in a normal semi-small chiliocosm, the strongest would at most be around 6-star. Although 7-star existences sometimes appeared, they were always encountered by others, not by you until now. But now, a 9-star existence has actually appeared, along with several 8-star ones. The problem here goes without saying. Hey, indeed, treasures belong to the virtuous. I am indeed the child of fortune, indeed the protagonist. Having been in the Hun Tian Great Thousand World for so long, and having invaded so many worlds, I often heard of others getting opportunities, but I never encountered one myself. Now it's finally my turn. An opportunity that can produce so many powerhouses must already involve the 10th tier level. Looking at the thousands of newly appeared cultivators of the same tier in front of you, an unprecedented smile appeared on your face, though this smile was more or less evil. You damned invaders. You have 1 minute to immediately leave our heaven extinction world. I hope you don't know what's good for you, said the 9-star strongest, named Yi Tian, standing at the forefront with an icy, emotionless expression. Yi Tian, immortal king, why say so much to them? They are just 11 same-tier existences. You are the peerless, immortal king among the thousands of minor thousand worlds around us. Even when you were backed by our heaven extinction world, facing tens of thousands of immortal kings besieging you, you still held up the emperor's city with one hand, remaining invincible in the world. At the peak of the Tao, arrogant in the world, where I, Yi Tian, immortal king, am, there is heaven. These little nobodies, even if I deal with them, it would only take a few seconds. Why waste words with them? You few, I advise you to surrender immediately now and submit to Yi Tian, immortal king. Those who chant the true name of Yi Tian, immortal king, shall gain eternal life in reincarnation. The several 8-star ants behind Yi Tian spoke with extreme arrogance, their voices filled with killing intent. Wow, so arrogant, I love it. Having invaded so many worlds, I've only seen people this arrogant in the wizard world group. I originally thought it would be a long time before I saw someone this arrogant again, but I didn't expect to encounter one so soon. Wu Sheng, Deputy Commander, Qi Ming, Deputy Commander, what do you all think I should do next? Should we listen to them and go back to the Huntian Great Thousand World? The other side is an immortal king, and an invincible immortal king at that. I'm so scared. You, who hadn't yet figured out what the other party's opportunity was and were just about to kill those people, heard these words, paused slightly, and then your expression immediately changed. A brighter smile appeared on your face as you looked at your subordinates beside you and asked for their opinions. Commander, we are dull and don't know what to do, Wu Sheng replied, his face filled with clear stupidity. You all, every single one of you, are just timid, not arrogant enough. What's so hard to answer about such words? How great it would be if you were as arrogant as that invincible immortal king. I would leave a few 9th-tier cultivators for you all, so you could have more fun. After all, if you are too arrogant, or even arrogant towards me, and you get killed by others or I kill you, I can then rightfully inherit your legacy. The people you kill are also killed for me. Forget it, since you are unwilling to be arrogant, then it's best never to be arrogant. I hope you never have a day when I inherit your property. I don't wish to see it now, and I believe you don't wish to see it either. Oh, and I hope you remember one thing. Arrogance without strength will truly get you killed, just like this. Boom tilde tilde. Several 8-star and one 9-star existence, which would be difficult for others to kill, but for you, it wouldn't take more than 10 seconds. These 2,000 people were reduced to only about 300, who were now looking around in confusion, trembling uncontrollably. Before they could react, your 10 subordinates rushed over and divided these people. And that extremely arrogant Yi Tian, invincible immortal king, as well as that 8-star immortal king who mocked you, had already been directly imprinted with your soul mark and became your slaves without even resisting for a second. They too were now looking around helplessly and bewildered, their minds buzzing, not understanding what had happened. Come on, invincible immortal king, are you still brave? Where's your courage? Keep it up. Use your courage to continue bombarding your new master. Aren't you at the peak of the immortal, arrogant in the world? Continue. Master, Yi Tian doesn't dare to be brave anymore. After Yi Tian, immortal king understood his situation and felt the soul brand within his soul. The invincible heart and supreme Tao heart, forged through countless victorious battles, were on the verge of collapse. If he faced enslavement by a higher-level cultivator, he would still despair, but his invincible heart wouldn't collapse. However, he never thought that he would be so vulnerable against a cultivator of the same level. He couldn't even last a second. This situation made Yi Tian feel like a clown. His so-called invincibility at the same realm was probably only valid in this remote corner. If he went to a larger place, he might be at the bottom of his level. Otherwise, if he were truly invincible in the same realm, he wouldn't have been unable to hold on for even a second. Especially after seeing the scene where 3 axes killed over 1,700 cultivators of the same level, Yi Tian became even more convinced of this. Are you deaf? I told you to keep being brave, to keep being arrogant towards me. Master, in front of you, Yi Tian truly doesn't dare to be brave anymore. Since you don't dare, then why are you still standing there in a daze? Why don't you quickly tell me about your fortuitous encounter? It seems you're still quite daring. You effortlessly trained a new slave, and the slight anger that had just risen in your heart immediately vanished. A so-called invincible immortal king could be easily trained in front of you. It was just a piece of cake. Yes, master, the reason I possess my current strength is indeed due to a fortuitous encounter. I obtained this encounter when I first ventured outside the world after just becoming an immortal. It was in a void crack, and it was a small mirror. This small mirror, named Peiyuan Mirror, possesses an incredible effect. It can inexplicably increase a person's foundation and roots by 1 to 10 times, solidifying and cultivating their essence. If a person is lucky, they can directly increase their foundation by 10 times. If they are unlucky, they can only increase it by 1 time. I was very lucky back then, directly increasing my foundation by 10 times, which is why I have my current strength. 1 step stronger than others, every step stronger than others. is how I gained the power of the so-called Invincible in all the surrounding worlds. Yi Tian immediately revealed his fortuitous encounter after you stopped pressing him. When you first heard it, you didn't feel anything special. But as you listened, your eyes lit up again, and you had a guess in your heart. And after taking the Peiyuan mirror from him and seeing the item with your own eyes, you confirmed your guess. I'm rich. This time, I'm truly rich. I never thought I'd find a void anomaly in a half-step middle 1,000 worlds. Now, who can say I'm not a child of fortune? Void anomalies, chaos anomalies, Jushin anomalies. Each one is a rare treasure in the all heavens and myriad realms, each one a heaven and earth anomaly. Even the lowest grade void anomaly among these 3 great anomalies is something that even 11th stage cultivators would cast their gaze upon and desire to obtain. And that's just an ordinary void anomaly. If it has good effects, there's even less to say. Even if a void anomaly's effect is only useful for cultivators at or below the 9th stage, each one has an incredibly special effect. Obtaining one is the foundation for establishing a clan and a source of power. Just like this void anomaly that can enhance one's foundation, it's even more extraordinary. Imagine a person who has already reached the limit of their realm, whose foundation is immeasurably deep, and who cannot advance further without the help of more top-tier treasures. As long as they use this void anomaly, they can directly disregard rules, disregard everything, and inexplicably increase their foundation by about 1 to 10 times. Foundation is one of the most important factors for how far a person can go. Even if one is extremely unlucky and only increases it by 1 time, it can still provide an opportunity for further advancement in the future. Thinking of this, you didn't hesitate at all. You immediately stored the Peiyuan mirror within your inner world to prevent others from prying. After storing it, you looked at Yi Tian, the invincible immortal king, and the other cultivators around you, and couldn't help but feel a murderous intent, wanting to kill everyone present except for your own family's descendants. To prevent the news of you obtaining this treasure from leaking out. Even if these people didn't know the function of the treasure in your hand, and didn't even know about void anomalies, only thinking it was a valuable but not overly precious item. You still had this thought. Fortunately, you knew that if you were to do that, it would be like protesting too much, and the Hun Tian Great 1,000 World would pursue you, as your actions would be too egregious. Even if you only killed some low-level cultivators, technically, you wouldn't be responsible. But if you only killed tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands, it would be fine. However, if you killed all of them, the nature of the situation would change. The egregiousness would increase by an immeasurable amount. To face the pursuit of a major 1,000 worlds for a void anomaly, you weren't that foolish. Such a pursuit was something you simply couldn't withstand. Even if you ran to other hostile major 1,000 worlds, they would still have means to kill you within that major 1,000 worlds. Externally, I'll just say I obtained a 10th stage treasure. This kind of treasure I can currently protect, and it won't be coveted by others. Similarly, it can also explain why the strong cultivators in this world are so powerful. Having found a reason, you continued to maintain your composure, your expression unchanged, as if the item you obtained was indeed not very precious. After about several tens of minutes, when the invasion battle ended, you calmly returned to the Jushin warship, to your own living quarters. But this was only outward calm. Internally, you were already very restless. You directly communicated with the void anomaly Peiyuan mirror within your inner world and began to enhance your foundation. You wanted to see how many times you could improve, but even though you hadn't improved yet, you already knew the result with 100% certainty. Hehehe, you are the child of fortune. You are the protagonist. The protagonist should have the highest multiplier, a 10-fold increase in foundation. If it were only a one-time increase, wouldn't you, the protagonist, become a joke? The result, needless to say, was naturally 10-fold. As you guessed, you are indeed the protagonist, no problem. The protagonist must ruthlessly cheat, cheat upon cheat, the cheat of cheats, the king of cheats. Your foundation has increased 10-fold, and the events within your body have vibrated repeatedly, beginning to grow even larger. Foundation is a comprehensive attribute, representing a person's soul, inner world, physical body, talent, and other comprehensive aspects at their current cultivation realm. If this increases 10-fold, it means that a person's physical body and soul power have all increased by more than 10 times. Your physical body and inner world were already very vast. After years of cultivation, besides your improved comprehension of the minor indestructible Tao, your inner world has also greatly improved. After all, the minor indestructible Tao can make the physical body indestructible. How does one make the physical body indestructible? Naturally, it is by improving the physical body's strength and hardness. And precisely, for the inner world to expand, your physical body must be able to withstand it. After all, the inner world is within your body. If your body cannot withstand such a large world, it will directly collapse. If it can withstand it, then it can expand infinitely. After you have comprehended enough of the minor indestructible Tao, your body has now opened up a vast world with a radius of over tens of millions of light years. The radius has increased by more than 10 times, and the volume has increased by 1,000 times. Your strength is now more than 1,000 times stronger than when you first broke through. This is your most basic, raw strength. If you add your talent and your 90% comprehension of the minor indestructible Tao, you can't even imagine how powerful you are now, if expressed in star ratings. You now have at least 20-star combat power. Of course, that was before. Now your foundation has increased by more than tenfold, and your inner world has expanded by more than double, reaching a radius of 21 million light-years. Your strength at the same level has reached 23 stars. Feeling the changes within your body, the smile on your face grew wider. Of course, this was not because you were happy about your strength increasing, but because you were happy about your foundation. No matter how much your strength at the same level increases, it no longer has any meaning to you. No matter how much it increases, it is impossible to cross a major realm. So, his current strength is invincible at the same level, no matter what it increases to. Since he is already invincible, why pay so much attention to strength at the same level? It's meaningless. It's all a matter of one axe strike anyway. On the contrary, the improvement of your foundation is more meaningful to you. This means that even without other help, you can still reach a higher position by relying on your foundation. This treasure is very good, but for now, only I can use it. Only when I break through to the 11th stage in this simulation, or the next simulation, will I be able to truly bring it out for everyone in the family to use. If I use it now, even if I break through to the 10th stage and possess strong combat power, others will covet it, because this is a void wonder that can improve one's foundation. It's different from ordinary ones. Having a treasure but not being able to use it, a hint of complexity flashed across your face as you thought about this. In the final analysis, you are still too weak. Your cultivation realm is still too low. If you were a little stronger, let alone others coming to snatch from you, it would be considered conscientious of you not to snatch from others. Why worry about this and that? For a time, your motivation to improve your strength grew even stronger. The 9th and 10th stages are far from enough. You want to achieve the 13th, 14th, and even higher stages. Truly control your own destiny. Become so powerful that even if you possess Jushin wonders and treasures, no one would dare to covet them. Having set this goal for yourself, after returning to the Hun Tian army camp, you did not hesitate at all. Before your subordinates could rest again, you immediately took on another mission, no longer allowing yourself 20 years of rest time after invading a world. If you want to rest, invading a world basically takes several years or even more than 10 years to travel. This time is completely enough for rest. If you want to rest, you can do so inside the Jushin warship. In the 9,642nd year of joining the Hun Tian army, you invaded another half-step middle thousand worlds. The number of strong individuals in this world was normal, and there were no particularly top-tier strong individuals. Therefore, naturally, there were no opportunities. Although you were very disappointed, the cost of your disappointment was very heavy. You directly killed 1,000 cultivators of the same level with one axe strike, leaving only about 200 for the surrounding people. This axe strike directly shocked everyone present. The maximum combat power you had displayed before was only killing a few hundred cultivators of the same level with one axe strike. Although that was just a casual strike from you, not your full power, you could kill thousands or even tens of thousands with one full power axe strike if they weren't separated, but gathered together. Now, killing over 1,000 with one axe strike is also a casual strike from you. In the 9,712th year of joining the Hun Tian army, this was the 7th world you successfully invaded after obtaining the Void Wonder, but it was not a half-step middle thousand worlds. Instead, it was a void secret realm. In this void secret realm, you obtained some good cultivation resources. By exchanging them for cultivation time in the Great Tao Pavilion, your strength improved to a certain extent. Your current comprehension has reached 95%. In the 9,812th year of joining the Hun Tian army, your strength comprehension reached 97%. In the 9,953rd year of joining the Hun Tian army, your comprehension reached 99%. Comprehending the power of the Tao is difficult to start, harder in the middle, and the last step is the most difficult. The further you go, the greater the difficulty of comprehension, and the more time it takes. Many people get stuck at this step, unable to cross over for a long time, and finally exhaust their lifespan and end with regret. But for you, as long as there is enough time to comprehend, you know you can cross over. Just like in the 10,000th year of joining the Hun Tian army. Inside the Great Tao Pavilion. 5th Chu He closed his eyes. The golden Tao power belonging to the minor indestructible Dea permeated 99.999% of his entire body's surface. Only a tiny, insignificant bit remained uncovered, which would be unnoticeable without close observation. As time passed, an endless stream of minor indestructible Tao insights flooded his mind. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, a full 3 years of Great Tao Pavilion comprehension time had elapsed. When the final moments passed, he finally succeeded in fully comprehending that last bit of minor, indestructible Tao insight. Minor indestructible Tao, 100% comprehension. Boom. Opening his eyes, which were filled with golden immortal divinity, his entire body was bathed in golden light, like an eternal and indestructible deity. Only when the minor indestructible Tao was successfully comprehended, and he truly grasped the power of the Tao, did he realize how incredibly powerful this force was and what level it had reached. Indestructible, uncorrupted, immortal, eternal. Is this the true power of the Tao? I feel that if I were to use the power of the minor indestructible Tao now, my defense could directly increase by over 100,000 times. In the face of this power, all power of rules are garbage. The power of the Tao truly deserves its reputation as the supreme power of the all heavens and myriad realms. 100,000 times increase. It's truly unimaginable. With this level of defense, who could possibly break my defense? Such terrifying defense makes even my 99% damage nullification talent seem insignificant. No, I shouldn't think that way. The strongest effect of the talent isn't the damage nullification it provides. Its most powerful effect is its incomparably noble multiplicative factor. No matter what level my final power can stack to, the talent can still further increase my defense by over 100 times on top of that final stacked level. This is the most powerful aspect of the talent. Ignoring everything, increasing defense by 100-fold. Finally understanding what the power of the Tao was, his mindset instantly shifted. Before, he thought the power of rules were already amazing, and he felt particularly impressive for having opened an inner world and mastered 3,000 power of rules. But now, he felt that the power of rules were just so-so. Only ants would bother to master such power. True powerhouses disdain to control such power. It's merely the rules within a world. The power of the great Tao, however, is the supreme power of the all heavens and myriad realms. There was absolutely no comparison between the two. He wished he could immediately clear out all the power of rules he had experienced and replace them entirely with the power of the Tao, directly mastering 3,000 different minor Taos. Power of rules seemed to say, just a while ago you called others baby, and now you dislike them this much. Amen. Break through the realm. Spending so much time successfully comprehending the minor indestructible Tao, wasn't it all for the sake of breaking through? As for growing from an 8th-tier cultivator to a 10th-tier realm in just tens of thousands of years, spanning 2 major realms, will this attract the attention of other powerhouses? I can't worry about that much. Aside from the fact that my cultivation speed in the Great Tao Pavilion was much faster than others, which is a bit strange, everything else regarding why I broke through so quickly is traceable. It's all because I'm too powerful, and my combat strength is superior. Even if others suspect, they will only suspect their own weakness. They will only believe that the reason they broke through so slowly was entirely due to their own pathetic strength, unable to obtain powerful heavenly treasures, which is why their breakthroughs were so slow. If you're weak, then practice more. The main point is not to suppress the realm or combat power. He didn't consider what others might think. If there was an opportunity to break through, and he didn't seize it, wasting time worrying about others' opinions, then that person would truly be the height of foolishness. If one day he were to be killed by someone without having broken through, he would regret it. He would rather be spied upon for being too astonishing than be killed, due to his own foolishness for not breaking through. He could not accept such a way of dying. Moreover, even if he were killed, it would at most be a waste of one simulation opportunity. As long as he remembered the name of the person who killed him, a month later, Old Six would be a good man again. What's one simulation opportunity? Anyway, he had already broken through 2 major realms, it was worth it. The powerful minor indestructible Tao force surged into his inner world, beginning to expand it frantically. In addition, the power of the Tao was also reorganizing his body, his soul, his life level, and his strength, causing his strength, soul, and life level to undergo a comprehensive improvement. Everything about him was constantly improving. In just the blink of an eye, his inner world expanded from over 20 million light-years in size to 50 million light-years, and his strength directly increased by more than 10 times again. And it didn't end there. After 50 million light-years came hundreds of millions of light-years, a world of hundreds of millions of light-years. The size within it could no longer be described by galaxies. It could encompass an unknown number of star rivers, requiring units like star river or even star domain to describe it. A standard star river contains hundreds of millions of galaxies, and a standard star domain contains hundreds of millions of star rivers. His inner world contained hundreds of star domains. The immeasurable supercontinent was the main body of his inner world, but in the endless star-filled sky outside his inner world, countless trillions of ancient stars, each over 1 million kilometers in size, illuminated the entire dark, endless void, bringing light to the entire inner world. Similarly, these were also the source of his incomparable might. For every gram the world's mass increased, his strength increased by 1 gram. Whatever the power of the entire world, that was how much power he possessed. 200 million light-years, 500 million light-years, 1 billion light-years. Reaching 1 billion light-years in size already belonged to the 10th tier domain, possessing the basic strength of a 10th-tier powerhouse. His previous strength and the strength at this level differed by tens of thousands of times. Although it didn't seem like much, compared to his combat power at the same tier, which was often described in billions, tens of thousands of times was indeed not much. If his base combat power were to use the power of rules, this gap would shrink to around a few hundred times. However, the power of a 10th-tier powerhouse wasn't in their base combat power. It was in their Tao-based combat power. Even if his basic strength was hundreds or thousands of times greater than these 10th-tier existences, as long as a tiny bit, just a tiny bit of Tao power struck him, he would die. No matter how powerful one's basic combat power is, it is useless. Only those who master the power of the Tao can defeat others who also master the power of the Tao. The power of the Tao is above all else. Even if all living beings born in the all heavens and myriad realms, the endless heavens, the endless great thousand, the endless worlds, and the endless void, were all at the 9th order realm. And only one was at the 10th order realm. The number of people, which already exceeds any numerical unit to describe, would all besiege this person at the 10th order realm, but the final victor would still inevitably be the person at the 10th order realm. It would even be an overwhelming victory. The opponent wouldn't even need to do anything, just use the power of the Tao he controls to envelop himself, and that would be enough. All power striking this protective envelopment would disappear, unable to reach the strong individual. Even if everyone in the all heavens and myriad realms struck it at the same time, it would be utterly useless. Just a trace of the power of the Tao, enveloping him, would suffice. That is how invincible he is. That is how overbearing he is. That is how powerful, strong, unconquerable he is. The world within his body continued to expand, until it reached 50 billion light years, then hundreds of billions of light years, 300 billion light years, and finally 1,000 billion light years, before slowly stopping. 10th order realm, breakthrough successful. A world within his body, 1,000 billion light years in size, is already roughly 1/10 the size of a single universe, and also 100,000 times the basic power of the same level. This is just basic power. If you use the power of the minor Tao, then you can also destroy a single universe with one move. You already possess power at the single universe level. Invincible. I'm truly, truly, truly invincible again. Every time I successfully break through a major realm, I feel invincible. Power at the single universe level. Before transmigrating, I never imagined I could possess such a level of power in the future. Before I transmigrated, all I thought about was birth, aging, sickness, and death. Who could have imagined that I would actually encounter transmigration and even possess such a level of good fortune? With this power, even among the numerous armies of transmigrators, I am no longer among the weakest tier. I can barely be considered a middle-tier transmigrator. If I tell others I'm a transmigrator, they won't think I'm bragging anymore. It was me who transmigrated. Thank you, Hakaji Command, you really are. I don't even know how to repay you. A characteristic arrogant laugh escaped his lips. The powerful strength belonging to a 10th order heavenly venerate instantly surged from your body, enveloping the entire Tian Chu mixed sky army camp. And it expanded outwards at a terrifying speed, until the hundreds of surrounding universe-sized profound sky cities could feel your aura. Only after everyone had felt this power belonging to the 10th order did it stop expanding outwards. Golden, intensely indestructible rays of light obscured the blue and white sky. This scene caused everyone in the Tian Chu mixed sky army to pause slightly. However, they were not ignorant beings from some native world. They were Hun Tian people from a major 1,000 worlds, often traversing virtual worlds, and could be considered well-traveled. After a brief stun, they understood what was happening. Especially since all those present had experienced battle after battle with you, and were already familiar with your aura. Feeling your aura, which was countless times stronger than when you were in the invasion battlefield, all the 7th, 8th, and 9th order Hun Tian people, Wu Sheng, Chu Zhongshan, Chu Qingsheng, Chu Yuansheng, and other juniors of the Chu family. And so on and so forth. They all knew that you had broken through to the 10th order heavenly venerate realm, a realm they all yearned for but could not reach. Heavenly venerate is an honorific title for 10th order powerhouses. This title, they are worthy of it. Every person who masters the power of the Tao is worthy of it. Heavenly venerate title, not bad, not bad. I, Chu old ancestor, am now also a heavenly venerate powerhouse. Putting myself out there, no matter where I am, I can be considered a strong individual. I won't be just a random person on the street anymore. It's not easy, truly not easy. Experiencing 5 simulations, each one more difficult than the last, but also making me stronger than the last. Seeing his simulated self break through, Chu He had a wide smile on his face. His biggest expectation for this simulation was to break through the 9th order realm, but the other party, like his 4th brother, greatly exceeded his expectations. Once the 10th order is achieved, it not only grants immense power, but also eternal life. Compared to the increase in strength, the increase in lifespan was a greater temptation for him. No one can resist this temptation. In just a few thousand years, the Hun Tian commander actually broke through. From just having broken through the 9th Order realm, he instantly entered the 10th Order realm. This is simply incredible. Compared to the Hun Tian commander, I'm truly a good-for-nothing among good-for-nothings. I've cultivated for so many billions of years, yet I'm still only a 9th Order cultivator. And if it weren't for encountering the Hun Tian commander and joining his Hun Tian army, thereby gaining frequent opportunities to invade half-step middle thousand worlds, my strength might still be at the 3-star Hun Tian commander level, simply unable to reach the current 6-star level. Not to mention the 10th Order realm after breakthrough, that's truly a fantasy. A hint of daze flashed across Wu Sheng's face. If his Dao heart hadn't been quite good, he would probably be doubting himself right now. Doubting whether he was truly a great good-for-nothing. But if he were a good-for-nothing, he wouldn't have been able to achieve the 9th Order realm. This achievement, within the Hun Tian Great Thousand World, is no longer considered trash. It ranks above countless others. That's right, compared to the Hun Tian commander, we are indeed good-for-nothings, but we don't need to belittle ourselves. Our strength is already quite good. It's just that the Hun Tian commander is too monstrous. Instead of thinking about whether we're good-for-nothings right now, it's better to think about how to cling even more tightly to the Hun Tian commander's leg. The 10th Order realm is definitely not the Hun Tian commander's end, but merely his starting point. In the future, the Hun Tian commander will surely be able to achieve the 11th Order, the 12th Order, and even the Supreme Grand Luo realm, becoming a true great divine ability user, eternal and endless. Nodding, another 9th Order cultivator beside Wu Sheng, Yi Zhan, strongly agreed. When speaking of clinging to a leg, Wu Sheng and Yi Zhan immediately turned their gaze to your descendants, to Chu Zhongshan, Chu Qingsheng, and the others. They, Wu Sheng and the others, are quite familiar with your preferences. Everyone likes money, and that means Hun Tian gold. As long as you are given enough Hun Tian gold, that person will be your best brother. However, for now, it's temporarily impossible to curry favor with you further through this method. Because your strength has broken through to a higher realm, with their financial resources, they simply cannot produce enough Hun Tian gold to satisfy you. Besides, they can be considered to have latched onto your leg now. After all, during the thousands of years of invasion wars, you all have become very familiar with each other. Of course, while thousands of years is a long time, compared to your already eternal lifespan, there is no comparability whatsoever. Time will dilute all emotions. They must cling even tighter to your leg. In this situation, they can only turn their attention to your descendants. It's not shameful to curry favor with the descendants of a 10th tier expert with infinite potential. On the contrary, it is a very glorious thing. Many 9th tier experts want to curry favor, but they don't even have the opportunity. They can't even get through the door, can't find a way, and can only sigh in admiration. All heavens and myriad realms, the status of experts in different realms is truly different. It's just one major realm higher, but everything it brings is different. One major realm higher, even the descendants are people that 9th tier experts need to curry favor with. Simply because the gap in this major realm is too vast. A 10th tier blank slate strength is 7 trillion times greater than an ordinary 9th tier who just broke through. The internal world of an ordinary 9th tier who opened up their internal world is only 50,000 light years, while the internal world of an ordinary 10th tier who just broke through is a billion light years in diameter. There are several zeros of difference between them. A difference of 1 zero means the world's volume is 1,000 times larger. Not to mention this is just the difference between an ordinary 9th tier cultivator and an ordinary 10th tier cultivator. My blank slate strength is now over 1,000,000 times stronger than those at the same level. The gap between them is 700 trillion times, and the most crucial thing is that this doesn't even include the power of the Tao. If it were included, it would be even more astonishing. Haha, in the face of such a huge gap, 9th tier cultivators can only submit. They simply cannot be arrogant. After all, with their strength, the 5th one could kill countless trillions with a single thought. Chu He gained a new understanding of the status of experts in the all heavens and myriad realms, but after thinking about it again, he felt that this situation was very normal. The gap was simply too large. Given such a huge gap, even the descendants of a 10th tier expert are not something ordinary 9th tier experts can provoke. Even if a 10-star level 9th tier cultivator provokes them, no one would seek revenge if they were killed by a 10th tier. Provoking an expert is a path to death. Even if such a foolish person has the potential to break through to the 10th tier, there's no need to cultivate them, because they are too foolish. Moreover, potential is ultimately just potential. Geniuses who haven't realized their potential are all garbage. They cannot compare to experts who have already realized their potential. Without any hesitation, the two immediately use the virtual world, spending a large amount of Hun Tian gold to exchange for a huge pile of natural treasures needed for 8th tier cultivators. Things that enhance strength, improve foundation, boost cultivation talent, increase soul power, and deepen rule comprehension. They bought a huge pile of everything. At the same time, there's no need to mention the 7th tier natural treasures. They directly bought about 100 trillion Hun Tian gold worth. These natural treasures can allow many of your family's 7th-tier descendants to raise their strength to the 8th tier. There's no other way. They simply can produce that many 8th-tier cultivating descendants, because after so many years of invasion, the strength of your family's descendants had long reached the peak of the 7th tier. Now that they have obtained such a large sum of cultivation resources, each person can receive enough money to buy the lives of 100,000 7th-tier experts. It's impossible for them not to break through. These are 100,000 7th-tier experts. Father breaking through to the 10th tier, with Father's combat power, his breakthrough will likely make him invincible among those at the same level. With a casual move, he can annihilate dozens or even hundreds of cultivators of the same level. At that time, with Father's terrifying strength, wouldn't invading worlds be a simple matter? At that time, with just a casual invasion, the Hun Tian gold will probably be described in units of trillions, even if he just lets out a tiny bit of a fingernail or doesn't even make a move. There will be a huge number of people coming to offer gifts. These gifts will be enough to feed the family for who knows how many years, and allow everyone in the family to have a great increase in strength. Feeling the terrifying aura around him, Chu Zhongshan's eyes were filled with joy. He truly didn't know what to say about your breakthrough. Breaking through again and again, refreshing everyone's understanding again and again, elevating your weak family again and again to heights they originally could not reach. Elevating it to heights they dared not even imagine, from a small celestial being family in a small world, transcending 3 world levels, to become a heavenly venerate family that is high above even in the major 1,000 worlds. What an incredible thing. Just thinking about it feels like a dream. He truly hopes that all of this is not fake, but real. You are right. I just received a batch of natural treasures worth trillions of Hun Tian gold. It seems one of the Ancestor's deputy commanders, directly transferred it to me, and also told me to buy whatever I wanted. This amount is enough to buy the cultivation resources for me to break through to the 9th tier. It's many times more than the Hun Tian gold I earned myself. It really is. Chu Qingsheng nodded, while looking at the extra Hun Tian gold in his virtual world bank, not knowing what to say. This Hun Tian gold, obtained so easily, was something he had never dared to imagine before, not even in his dreams. At the same time, just as your family's descendants were rejoicing, in Xuankong City, the only 11th tier cultivator, heavenly venerate Xuanyuan, sensed your aura and awoke from his cultivation. He opened his eternal, unextinguishable golden pupils and looked at you across thousands of universes and spacetime. A smile flashed in his eyes. After about 100 billion years, another heavenly venerate Taoist has been born. Not bad, much faster than the last time one was born. If this continues, it won't be long before the number of 10th tier heavenly venerate experts in my Xuankong City will surely exceed 10,000. At that time, the Hun Tian Hall should also bestow upon me a rather impressive treasure. Thinking of the treasure, Xuan Yuan God Venerable's smile widened. As he spoke, he communicated with the intelligent life in his virtual world and said, Adal, our Xuankong City's territory must have expanded significantly in the last 100 billion years, hasn't it? I just checked, and it seems to have gained the area of several more universes. So, let's grant this newly breakthrough heavenly venerable a territory the size of a single universe. Let them settle down here peacefully and not register their household elsewhere, running off to someone else's territory. Yes, Master. The intelligent life responded respectfully, its tone filled with emotional fluctuations. Tilda. Nodding, Xuan Yuan God Venerable said no more. He closed his eyes and resumed his cultivation, not bothering to learn the name of the newly breakthrough heavenly venerable. Reaching the 10th and 11th order realms, continuing to advance further is an extremely difficult task, even for those in the major 1,000 worlds. Even joining the Hun Tian army and forming a second-class Hun Tian army is difficult to achieve quickly. Because at this stage, the Hun Tian army invades middle 1,000 worlds, but where are there so many middle 1,000 worlds to invade? Even the smallest, newly promoted middle 1,000 worlds is the size of a single universe. Such worlds are already relatively rare in the all heavens and myriad realms. It's impossible to casually choose invasion missions like in minor 1,000 worlds, where even ordinary Hun Tian armies get an invasion opportunity every few centuries. For ordinary 11th order cultivators in a middle 1,000 worlds, it might take billions of years to even get one chance to independently invade a middle 1,000 worlds. Otherwise, unless you are an invincible expert with absolute dominance among your peers, you can only continue to wait patiently. Only those who are invincible among their peers can get a chance to invade a middle 1,000 worlds every few million years. Ooh. Stepping out of the time cultivation room, you subtly reigned in your aura, but the life level of a single universe, your 10th order life level, still caused the surrounding cultivators of the 8th and 9th orders who had just gathered to feel a suppression on their life force. The suppression of life levels is like a mouse encountering a tiger. Facing a 10th order existence, just the suppression of life levels can make a 9th order expert dare not act against you. or rather, be unable to act against you. Everyone, with so many people gathered here, are you all here to congratulate me on my breakthrough? You scanned the crowd, seeing that everyone from the 8th order and above had come. Not a single person was absent, and you were very happy. This indicated that your prestige among these people was very high, and they were all very happy about your breakthrough, which is why they came to congratulate you immediately. Instantly, you dismissed the thought of nodding down anyone who hadn't come. We wish Chu Heavenly Venerable to achieve the 10th order, eternal lifespan, and comprehend the power of the Tao. We wish Chu Heavenly Venerable to achieve the 10th order, eternal lifespan, and comprehend the power of the Tao. We wish Chu Heavenly Venerable to achieve the 10th order, eternal lifespan, and comprehend the power of the Tao. Blessings rang out from everyone's mouths, one after another. After thousands of years of interaction, they already knew your preferences and had studied you thoroughly. They knew that you were essentially a very arrogant person, and also someone who loved grand spectacles. In short, for a major event like your breakthrough, they should shout as loudly as possible. Shouting too softly might get them remembered. Very good. Seeing that you have all followed me for so long, and also seeing that you are all sincerely wishing me well, don't say I don't give you a chance. I'll give you an opportunity to truly bless me. Let you bless me wholeheartedly. Within 1 hour, transfer as much money as you can into my account. Whether you borrow, steal, or rob, the person who transfers the most money will have one not too big, not too small wish granted by me. Remember, this wish is not too big, not too small. If you wish for me to help you achieve the 10th order, I will chop you to death with an axe. Of course, I'm not an unreasonable person. Besides the person who transfers the most money, I will fully refund the money transferred by everyone else. After all, no matter what, I am still your superior. I've always been very good to my own people. Looking at everyone's sincere expressions, you were extremely happy after your recent breakthrough and being blessed in such a way. In your happiness, you decided to act as a wish-granting dragon for once. You intended to thoroughly fulfill one wish in these people's hearts, one they most wanted to achieve, but couldn't due to limitations in their strength. Their wishes might be difficult for them, but at your level, their wishes might not even require you to fulfill them. As long as someone says it publicly and it spreads, others will fulfill that person's wish before you even get to it, just to curry favor with you. You don't need to pay anything at all. You only need to accept others' fawning, which is precisely what you are best at and what you enjoy doing most. You are best at accepting others' fawning. You particularly enjoy it when others fawn over you intensely. Upon clearly understanding what you said, the 8th and 9th order cultivators present, even the most powerful one who had reached the 8-star level of the 9th order, immediately went crazy. A not too big, not too small wish fulfilled by you. Everyone knew what this implied. Even with the not too big, not too small premise, it was still an extraordinary heaven-sent opportunity. Outwardly, this opportunity would be enough to be the final auction item in a large auction, selling at an unimaginable, astronomical price. If sold, it could fetch a huge sum of Hun Tian gold. If used by oneself, it could obtain many desired things that were otherwise unattainable. If not used, it was an even greater protective charm. If anyone of the same level dared to provoke them, they could directly unleash you as a trump card and kill the opponent on the spot. And now, such an opportunity was before them, requiring only money, 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 money. Without a hint of hesitation, everyone immediately began checking their virtual bank accounts in the virtual world to see how much Hun Tian gold they possessed. Then, without even looking, they directly transferred it to your account, frantically sending you money, money, money. Similarly, those with connections started contacting their relatives, their aunts and uncles, their ancestors and descendants, and their friends, all beginning to borrow money from them. If one was a family patriarch, they directly demanded money from everyone in the family, using up all the family's accumulated wealth. If one was a racial patriarch, they directly demanded money from the entire race. Your ancestor is about to obtain such a heaven-defying opportunity. Shouldn't you, the family descendants and racial members who have benefited from my care, take out your last bit of money at such a crucial moment? Even if your money is scarce, the more you can contribute, the better. Who knows, in the end, it might just be that tiny bit that makes the difference. If it's truly impossible, you should also borrow. You should also find others to borrow from, and if you really can't borrow, let your friends also find others to borrow from, then continue the nesting doll process. Let your friends' keep borrowing like this. Everyone who has reached their current strength has many connections, as they have all lived for at least hundreds of millions of years. Ordinary people living for 100 years can have a huge network of connections. These people have lived for hundreds of millions of years. Even if much of that time was spent cultivating, their network of connections covers an unknown number of people, and this time, it's unknown how much money they can borrow. No one knows how much money they can borrow, because there are very few people in this world who can lend money to others. Besides borrowing money from others, everyone also opened the official lending software within the Hun Tian Great Thousand World. Borrow now. Have you borrowed? Haven't borrowed yet. Why not borrow a little? Please borrow, loan now, have you loaned? And so on, various virtual world software. They began using their assets to borrow Hun Tian gold, one sum after another, and then transferred it all to your card. This situation directly caused the amount of Hun Tian gold in your card to increase at a terrifying speed, while your intelligent life was also calculating how much money each person had transferred to you in total. Who contributed the most? Every minute and every second, the amount of Hun Tian gold increased by over 100 million, which was somewhat abnormal, if your strength hadn't reached the 10th tier. You would have been registered by the virtual world immediately, becoming a high and mighty celestial venerable, enjoying countless privileges within the Hun Tian Great Thousand World. One of these privileges is that the virtual world bank has no right to inquire about your account balance without your consent. Perhaps you have already received a warning from the virtual world bank, asking you to go to the virtual world bank to explain why your card has so much more money. An hour passed quickly, and soon, the richest person among your subordinates appeared. To your surprise, he was not a 9th-tier vice commander under you, but a grand captain whose strength was only at the 8th tier. He was actually the richest among your subordinates. Or rather, he had the most extensive network of connections among your subordinates. An 8th-tier cultivator, he was able to borrow more money from others than even 9th-tier cultivators who had reached the 7th or 8th star level of strength. This is too rare. If it weren't for this situation today, I wouldn't have known that I had someone with such extensive connections among my subordinates. I also don't know why this talent would run to my Tian Chu mixed sky army. Could it be that he is a junior from a certain force, and that force foresaw my potential and sent someone here in advance to curry favor with me? There's indeed a possibility, or rather, this is the most probable possibility I can think of. 5th Chu He, who was somewhat inflated due to his strength breakthrough and lacked self-awareness, thought this to himself. You didn't think too much. No matter what calculations the other party had when joining, they couldn't scheme against you, a celestial venerable, simply because you are a celestial venerable. The status of a celestial venerable in the Hun Tian Great Thousand World can be said to be very, very high. Not only do they possess a territory the size of a single universe, but they can also freely dispose of the heavenly materials and earthly treasures born within their territory. If you are willing, you can even establish your own kingdom and power within your territory, and create a set of laws, as you please. It is said that you also possess hundreds of millions of large and small privileges and benefits. You have privileges and benefits wherever you go, and every so often, the Hun Tian Great Thousand World and the Hun Tian Hall, when they acquire something good, such as a secret realm or some treasures, like the void wonders that enhance your foundation, which you have in your possession. They will also forcibly add some privileges, secret realms, and opportunities to use treasures. Every few years, you will receive several quotas for all sorts of things. Truly, you wouldn't want it even if you didn't want it. Not wanting it means looking down on the Hun Tian Great Thousand World. Not wanting it means having ulterior motives towards the Hun Tian Great Thousand World. If you don't even want privileges and benefits, are you still a Hun Tian people? Or rather, are you a normal person? After you randomly selected this 8th-tier cultivator named Yi Feng, and he received your wish opportunity, you transferred all the money you had previously transferred back, except for his portion. Ignoring the disappointed gazes of the others around you, and the sight of your family descendants looking up at you, their eyes raised to the sky, viewing everything with contempt, ignoring everything, in the arrogant manner of a Chu dragon people, due to your immense influence. You instantly vanished from the Hun Tian army, heading directly to a branch of the Hun Tian Hall to claim some of your privileges that can only be claimed by personally confirming your breakthrough to Celestial Venerable in reality. Upon arriving at the Hun Tian Branch Palace, if you hadn't claimed them, you wouldn't have known you had so many privileges and benefits. An 80% discount privilege at the Hun Tian Mall, and the privilege of having a supreme VIP box at the Hun Tian Arena whenever you go. The privilege that if cultivators with a lower cultivation level, then you don't look at you, as if they're looking at the sun when you walk on the road. It's considered a great disrespect, and you can kill as many as you want without being held responsible. The benefit of acquiring a 9-story Hun Tian Tower. Each Hun Tian Tower is refined by an 11th-tier expert, and has the effect of accelerating the speed of rule comprehension, capable of increasing cultivation speed by up to 500 times. The benefit that from all races in the Hun Tian Great Thousand World, the virtual world will automatically select 100 stunning beauties, dragon girls, succubi, cat girls, humans, elves, little people, etc., with a beauty score of 9.9 or higher, to serve you for life. Additionally, the Food Spirit Middle Thousand World provides and gifts 1 Planet Devourer ticket every 100 years, and 1 Galaxy Devourer ticket every 1,000 years as welfare. You also have the privilege of freely unboxing people weaker than yourself in the virtual world, essentially wielding a box weapon. These benefits and privileges are relatively normal. But not all of them are. Some are particularly abnormal, yet you love them. Every 10,000 years, you can obtain 100 conquest slots for 9th-tier powers. What does this conquest slot mean? It means that if you or your descendants fancy a power built by a ninth-tier strong individual, even if the other party doesn't want to acknowledge you, you can forcefully conquer them. It's the privilege of directly expelling the other party from the power they built, and then taking over all of their subordinates, wealth, wives, and daughters, making them your own. The most crucial part is that it's all reasonable and legal. Who can you argue with? For any power below the 10th tier, if a heavenly venerate realm's strong individual visits your power, the first thing you do is not to give them a grand welcome, but to take out 50% of your family's savings and give it to this heavenly venerate as a gift. A heavenly venerate realm's strong individual visiting your power is a blessing your family power couldn't cultivate in millions of generations. Shouldn't you offer something to entertain them? Shouldn't you give a small gift to express your sincerity? These few are more or less abnormal. Besides these abnormal ones, what you like most is the welfare of obtaining 1,000 third-class Hun Tian army prepared by slots. This prepared by slot is for collecting empty salaries. Among the 1,000 Hun Tian army, you don't need to arrange anyone. There are no commanders, no grand captains, not even small soldiers. You can still receive the salaries of these 1,000 Hun Tian army every year, as well as their Jushin warships, directly collecting empty salaries. Strength, this is the status, the privileges, and the benefits brought by strength. These benefits, if placed on any single person, would be unimaginable to them. But now, millions, even tens of millions, of benefits and privileges are concentrated together, focused on me. This feeling, it's so F***seeking awesome. This is only the privilege of the 10th tier heavenly venerate realm. What about the 11th tier, 12th tier, and 13th tier realms? What kind of privileges will there be? No, I'm not strong enough. I can become even stronger. I want to become the person with the most privileges in the entire Hun Tian world. I am a man who wants to become the king of privilege. As he continuously reviewed the privileges he possessed, 5th Chu He's sense of belonging to the Hun Tian Great Thousand World grew even stronger. He was increasingly fond of the Hun Tian Great Thousand World now. From now on, whoever becomes an enemy of the Hun Tian Great Thousand World will be your enemy, and you will kill them. Isn't this cutting off your financial path? You've finally become a privileged class of the major thousand worlds, the exploiter among exploiters. If someone cuts off your financial path, you must kill them. While you were inquiring in the Hun Tian Hall, countless large and small 8th tier and 9th tier powers in Xuankong City, where you were located, all received the news of your achievement of the heavenly venerate realm. For you, who were previously the only 10th star 9th tier existence in their area, and even in their Dao domain, all powers in Xuankong City paid attention to you. After all, you were once known as the strongest among those thousands of existences below heavenly venerate. Such a powerful existence, every move is of concern to many people. Everyone wanted to know when you would achieve the heavenly venerate realm. Many guessed it would be after millions of years, tens of millions of years, or at the very least, after hundreds of millions of years. But they never expected that this time would be so ridiculous, that in just a few thousand years, you would transition from someone who had just broken through to the 9th tier realm to achieving the position of heavenly venerate. Becoming a lofty heavenly venerate, mastering the power of the Tao, and enjoying endless privileges. Now that they knew you had achieved it, some who had never invested in you before were filled with regret, as they had lost an important opportunity, an opportunity that could be said to change the destiny of their family powers. As for more people, they felt that flattering you now might be a bit late, but whether it's late or not, you won't know unless you try. You should try flattering first. Moreover, a heavenly venerate level existence was born in their Xuankong City, and you actually didn't send gifts, didn't offer blessings, didn't flatter. What do you want to do? What do you want to do? Are you trying to rebel? Rebel against the Hun Tian Great Thousand World? You're F***seeking breaking the law, do you know that? According to Article 36,120 of the Hun Tian Great Thousand World Heavenly Venerate Welfare Law, once someone in a great city achieves the Heavenly Venerate realm, all 9th tier powerhouses in that city must present a gift worth at least 100 trillion Hun Tian gold. If no one sends a gift, then you are breaking the law. And if you break the law, the Hun Tian Great Thousand World's law enforcement team can reasonably and legally imprison you, or expel you from the Hun Tian Great Thousand World. In this land, above Heavenly Venerate and below Heavenly Venerate are two different worlds. The name of this land is Heavenly Venerate. For a time, countless people began to enter the Hun Tian Mall, or their family treasuries, or their private spaces, searching for valuable treasures. They prepared to give them to you, and many people also began to transfer money directly to your family's descendants through their own channels, or through your family's descendants' virtual world accounts. In addition to these financial aids, your Heavenly Venerate level influence also affected various other aspects. Your family's descendants working in the Hun Tian Bank, these people were originally only arranged by you as minor leaders. Apart from a few more excellent individuals who had advanced further in these few thousand years, most others remained stagnant. However, when the people at this Hun Tian Bank branch learned that you had achieved the heavenly venerate realm, without any hesitation, the branch's bank manager directly used his authority to promote your family's descendants' positions by 3 levels on the spot. They became middle-level figures in this branch, and their future prospects were bright. As long as you don't fall, even if these people are truly too foolish, they can still slowly advance 1 or 2 more job levels. Becoming upper-middle management is the minimum. The people of Hun Tian Hall were even more so. They had already begun, from top to bottom, to center around you and your family's descendants. The innermost circle, outside of your family's descendants, was slowly gathering more and more people, and a small faction had already taken shape within the Hun Tian Hall. Given enough time to develop, it will absolutely grow into a major faction, even if it's just an ordinary one. But don't underestimate this small faction. If one day there are resources and treasures to contend for in the Hun Tian Hall, they won't even let you lift a finger. The people within this faction will tear at these treasures like hungry wolves, securing a large amount of benefits for you and your family's descendants. At the Hun Tian Arena, some of your descendants were originally minor leaders in charge of ordinary arenas, but now they've been promoted at light speed, directly becoming the chief organizers of the Hun Tian Arena's once-in-10,000-year Heavens Chosen Arena Grand Competition. They directly pushed out the previously appointed person in charge, simply because the other party's backing wasn't as strong as your descendants' backing. One after another, such scenes occurred within the major forces where you dispatched your descendants. This is a very common occurrence. When one person achieves enlightenment, even their chickens and dogs ascend to heaven. This happens every moment in the Hun Tian Great Thousand World. No one thinks there's a problem with this, because everyone here has experienced these things since birth, watching others' chickens and dogs ascend, or their own chickens and dogs ascend. There's only envy, jealousy, and flattery. Time flew by, and in the blink of an eye, a month had passed. During this month, your family's descendants were busy preparing a celestial venerable feast for you. Having achieved the celestial venerable realm, you naturally hold a high status, so a banquet must be held to give those people an opportunity to present gifts. You didn't do this when you were at the 8th rank and 9th rank realms, because those realms were too low. In this place, you can easily see a large number of 8th rank and 9th rank cultivators. Holding such a breakthrough feast would simply make others laugh their heads off. You could just secretly go to the small world you bought and celebrate. Running to the major 1,000 worlds to seek a sense of presence would be your mistake. But now it's different. Your status is high and everything has reversed. If you don't hold it, that's your problem, your mistake. Everyone will think you're wrong because they really want to give you gifts. They really want to give you lavish gifts. The celestial venerable feast was held on a grand scale, directly in your territory, the Tianchu universe. 8th rank true dragons and true phoenixes, these legendary creatures. A single bite of their flesh, a carnivorous treasure, could increase an ordinary 6th rank cultivator's strength by dozens of times and improve their talent and comprehension by several times. In this feast, they could only be described as the most common food. This isn't to say that these true dragons and true phoenixes are common. It's just that the lowest ranked participants in this feast are 9th rank, and they simply don't lack these things to eat. These things have no effect on them. On the contrary, eating these nourishing true dragons and true phoenixes is not as good as eating something delicious, such as a good mood fruit. In the Hun Tian Mall, one fruit is worth almost 100 Hun Tian gold. Each fruit is specially cultivated by strong individuals who travel through various worlds, collecting the good emotions, happiness, joy, excitement, thrill, etc. from hundreds of thousands of small worlds' lives, absorbing them for about 100 years. Then, these good emotions are used to specially cultivate the good mood fruit, which contains the most beautiful moments of endless life. Eating it allows one to connect with the most beautiful things in their heart and amplify this wonderful feeling by hundreds or thousands of times. It immerses you in an ocean of beauty. Isn't this much more delicious than any true dragon or true phoenix? Among them, you also brought the top delicacy from your hometown, the heavenly cloud realm, a delicious dish now on your life's menu. Purple lightning sky punch shrimp was also brought to this feast, allowing everyone to taste the deliciousness of your home. Everyone who saw this dish patiently tasted it, and all showed expressions of it being delicious. No one showed any expression of dislike, even though it was indeed very delicious. Besides the food, there were all sorts of other things that made this celestial venerable feast even livelier. For example, your descendants specially found several highly professional bands. They performed live a classic famous song from the Hun Tian Great Thousand World, the sound of the cosmic starry sky. 8th rank powerhouses took out millions of stars stored in their inner worlds, using these planets as musical notes and the rules of sound as strings, continuously playing them, producing wonderful sounds. Sounds from the universe. This celestial venerable feast was a great success, and you were very happy. When you were happy, you casually took out some Hun Tian gold and greatly rewarded your family's descendants. Each person was directly rewarded with tens of thousands of Hun Tian gold. With about 100 million people, this wave was directly trillions. But this money, let alone for you now, was nothing even for you when you were still at the 9th rank realm. But for your many family descendants, this was an amount they couldn't even imagine before, enough to cultivate thousands of 7th rank cultivators. It could purchase hundreds of thousands of small worlds. After holding the celestial venerable feast, you fell into a state of having nothing to do. At your realm, it's naturally impossible to continue invading those small worlds. The Hun Tian Great Thousand World would also not allow you to invade. If you want to relax and invade dozens or hundreds, there's no problem, but if you treat this as a career, then it's not allowed. Because the appearance of the third-class Hunshan Legion is to cultivate fresh blood, to cultivate those heaven's chosen disciples. Otherwise, the third-class Hunshan Legion would not have appeared at all. No other reason, even a small ant is still meat. This balance has been maintained for an unknown number of years. No one wants to break this balance, and no one wants to cut off the path for latecomers. Because you don't know if, among those whose paths you cut off, someone in the future will be very lucky, obtain some treasure, then soar to the sky, completely surpass you, and finally come back for revenge. 30 trillion years east of the river, 30 trillion years west of the river. Old geezer, do you still remember me? You were the one who cut off my path back then, right? Now I'm back to find you. Come on, smile. Under these circumstances, if you want to continue invading worlds, you can only resign from your position as a third-class Hun Tian army commander. Then find a second-class Hun Tian army, become a grand captain within it, and invade middle thousand worlds with the god-venerable commander of that second-class Hun Tian army. However, even then, to wait for a single middle thousand worlds invasion, you might still need to wait for billions of years before you get an opportunity to invade. In this way, you still have nothing to do. Without invading worlds, you won't have enough cultivation resources to quickly become stronger. You can only rely on your own comprehension to understand the indestructible Great Tao, progressing at a cultivation speed hundreds of times faster than those at the same level. This is far from your previous cultivation speed. If you invade worlds, there aren't that many middle thousand worlds for you to invade. There's no way. Middle thousand worlds are too hard to find. Not only are they generally rare, but they also run away. The world will of middle thousand worlds has already developed sentience. They can take their worlds and travel through the various void spaces, going wherever they want. They can even warp through space, not just simply running away openly with the entire world. It's the kind of running that involves spatial warping. In this situation, how do you find them? They might even play hide and seek with you. The people you send out might just find a middle thousand worlds, but unless they stick with it, they might accidentally let it escape. Even if the news of discovering this middle thousand worlds is sent back to the Hun Tian Great Thousand World, by the time the second-class Hun Tian army arrives, it would have long since vanished without a trace. Forget it, forget it. Since I can't invade worlds, then I'll spend some Hun Tian gold to cultivate a few hundred cultivators at the 9th Order realm, let them establish a third-class Hun Tian army, and let them invade on their own. They can use half of the money they earn for themselves, and the other half to cultivate their family's future generations. As for me, I'll first convert the gifts these people sent into Hun Tian gold, and digest them into my own strength. Shaking your head, you activated the virtual world. After exchanging for enough Hun Tian gold, you once again purchased some cultivation time in the Great Tao Pavilion and entered it to begin comprehending other minor Taos. To reach the God-venerable realm from the heavenly venerable realm, one needs to comprehend 10 minor Taos. This seems very simple. After all, it's just comprehending 10 minor Taos. A 9th Order realm cultivator can comprehend one with a little resource expenditure, and a 10th Order realm cultivator controls far more resources than a 9th Order realm cultivator, making breakthroughs even easier. However, minor Taos are not compatible with each other. Power of rules can be compatible, but greater powers cannot be compatible with each other. You must first understand what a Tao is. This Tao is your path for the future. A person can only walk one path, one Tao. You only have 2 legs. If you comprehend another path, another Tao, can you split your 2 legs in half and walk 2 paths simultaneously? Even if we take a step back and say it's possible, even if you're incredibly powerful, what about 3 paths, 4 paths, 10 paths? Can you still do that? Can you still split yourself? Naturally, you cannot. This is what it means for Taos to be incompatible. The struggle of the Great Tao has always been like this. At this level, comprehending minor Taos indeed poses no difficulty, but resolving the incompatibility between Taos, that is where the difficulty lies. So, how do you solve this problem? There is only one way, Tao fusion, since a person cannot walk 2 minor Taos. Then, these 2 Taos must be merged into one. One minor Tao absorbs another minor Tao, which can make the power of the Tao one controls even stronger and make one's path wider. One minor Tao after another merges. Finally, thousands of minor Taos merge, and they can become a great Tao that reaches the heavens, allowing one to grasp the indestructible Great Tao. This is the difficulty that heavenly venerable realm powerhouses must face. Only by overcoming the difficulty of Tao fusion can they break through. and how to achieve Tao fusion. This depends on your comprehension. To put it bluntly, these minor Taos are independent paths, but to put it even more bluntly, they are branches of the indestructible Great Tao. Since they are branches, there must be points of connection between them. This cultivation and fusion requires using one's comprehension to discover the connection points of one's Tao, connecting through the identical places between the two, tightly intertwining them, and finally, after a period of gestation and fusion, it can be completed. Unless some heavenly treasures that can help accelerate fusion are used, it is destined to be a long process. In the Great Tao Pavilion, you felt a direct reduction of dozens of times in comprehension enhancement, from the previous thousands of times in comprehension amplification, to only about 100 times. You were very helpless about this, but also felt it was very reasonable, because you have now broken through to the heavenly venerable realm. The Great Tao Pavilion, crafted from 11th order comprehension-enhancing treasures, naturally cannot have an unchanging effect on comprehension amplification. This discovery instantly made the joy of breaking through to the heavenly venerable realm vanish, without a trace. Breaking through to a higher realm isn't all good things. Look, this matter is terrible. It directly reduced the cost-effectiveness of my Great Tao Pavilion comprehension time by dozens of times. Now, I need to pay dozens of times more Hun Tian gold to comprehend one Tao. I'm truly speechless. With a hint of annoyance, you patiently began to comprehend another branch of the indestructible Great Tao, the hardness minor Tao, which is on the same level as the minor indestructible Tao. You continue to make your physical body even harder, more resilient, and more powerful. You want to make everyone at the same level even more despairing, so that all their attacks leave not even the slightest trace on your body. Even if a single hair is shortened by 0.0001 millimeters, that's unacceptable. Even if one of your cells is destroyed, it means you still need to practice. It means you're weak. Time, in the face of your eternal and immortal lifespan, has long been the least scarce thing. Year after year passed, and you couldn't feel the passage of time. Because you never cared, never paid attention to how many years had passed, because it wasn't important. In the blink of an eye, 7,000 years had passed. In these more than 7,000 years, your strength has improved to a certain extent, and your comprehension of the minor Tao of hardness has also improved, but you have not fully comprehended it. Because you currently haven't obtained enough heavenly materials and earthly treasures for fusion, nor have you understood the points of fusion between the two minor Taos. If you try to fuse them on your own, it will only cause the two minor Taos to contend within your body, and even if you don't explode and die, you will still need to expend countless efforts on it, wasting your cultivation time. However, although your strength hasn't improved much, the strength of your family has greatly increased during these more than 7,000 years. Through your small amount of Hun Tian gold, and the millions or tens of millions of welfare privileges, most of which were useless to you, after some family disciples used them. Among your family, there are now over 100,000 cultivators at the 9th order realm, most of whom have formed the Hun Tian army and are invading various worlds within the all heavens and myriad realms. As for cultivators at the 8th order and 7th order realms, there's even less to say. The number of 8th order realm cultivators has already exceeded 100 million. As for the 7th order realm, now in the family, you can see many of them just by looking around. It's already at the point where a 7th order realm cultivator is as common as a dog. When your strength reached the heavenly venerate realm, the bloodline of everyone in the Chu family was elevated by another level. They are born capable of achieving the Dharma idol realm without expending resources, a position at the peak within a small world. To reach this position, as long as there is someone among the family elders in the Chu family with decent strength, spending a few Hun Tian gold can lead to a successful breakthrough to the 7th order realm, without needing to expend too much effort. Besides the aspect of strength, after invading various worlds and obtaining a large amount of Hun Tian gold, Chu Zhongshan and others cashed in these worlds and purchased one complete world after another, creating tens of thousands of small worlds, and hundreds of small world peak worlds around your current heavenly cloud realm, with the number of small worlds needing to be calculated in the hundreds of billions, forming a large world cluster. Named the Tianchu World Cluster, it has now become a cradle for the heavenly venerate Chu family to multiply and thrive. The more than 100 billion small worlds are for the Chu family's servants to live in. Only the small worlds are the birthplaces of your descendants, with an unknown number of trillions of people born each year. These people from birth can enjoy endless glory and wealth. That is the fate of being a Chu dragon people, a heavenly palace life that others dare not even imagine. Even among the most ordinary collateral descendants of the Chu family, it is nothing special. Not that shabby. Currently, the Chu family's ordinary collateral descendants, right from birth, already have thousands of welfare privileges. Just listing a few makes them invincible. The first benefit: upon birth, you automatically own over 1,000 planets, and each planet has billions of slaves, totaling trillions, all becoming your private territory. You can do whatever you want there, and no one will control you. If anyone dares to resist or incite a rebellion, they will face the judgment of the Chu dragon people. A group of lowly commoners, daring to rebel, daring to resist. Damn it, giving face but not wanting it. A planet-destroying strike will be directly unleashed, and the entire planet will be reduced to ashes. Of course, normally, the family doesn't need to intervene, because everyone's strength is at least Dharma idol. Dharma idol level strength is an invincible existence on these planets where there is no extraordinary power. Even if it's a protagonist, unless it's a system flow protagonist, it's impossible to resist. They can only honestly act like a dog. And so, among your family's descendants, many sons of fortune and protagonists have been found from those purchased small worlds and minor thousand worlds, and then directly taken in as dogs. Occasionally, they also find family descendants who have other sons of fortune as dogs, letting the two sons of fortune dogs fight each other in a deathmatch to see whose fortune is stronger. The second benefit: everyone's private account, upon birth, can receive 0.0001 units of Hun Tian gold, which is already enough to purchase 1/100th of a small world. Each small world is only a few light years in size, containing an unknown number of ancient stars, and at least one continent reaching hundreds of billions of kilometers in area. This benefit is even more valuable than the previous one of thousands of planets, enough to buy tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, or even more planets. The third benefit: these various benefits have long since brought the Chu family's descendants' sense of belonging to the entire family to its peak, as well as their admiration for you, their old ancestor. It has also reached the peak of peaks. Everyone has long since rejoiced countless times in their hearts, wondering how powerful and incredible their reincarnation skills must have been to accurately reincarnate into a heavenly venerate family. And it's a heavenly venerate family that is steadily developing, with such a powerful old ancestor, and this old ancestor is also especially generous, throwing out a sum of Hun Tian gold from time to time. The family also has an abundance of strong individuals, with one 8th order and 9th order realm cultivator after another continuously emerging, fighting for the family in all directions, bringing in one world after another, and countless Hun Tian gold. It is precisely because of the struggles of these people that such benefits can be sustained, allowing them to stand on the heads of trillions of people from birth, directly dominating their lives and deaths. They can do whatever the hell they want. Although doing so can easily breed some parasites and freeloaders, these treatments are necessary and fundamentally unchangeable. Because isn't developing a family precisely to allow everyone in the family to live better? The Chu family has already become a heavenly venerate family, if it doesn't even have these most basic treatments. Then what's the point of developing a family? Everyone might as well disband and go their separate ways. Only when everyone lives better, and in order to live even better, will everyone have more motivation to work harder. Otherwise, if the stronger they become, the worse their lives get, then there will be no motivation to become stronger. It seems to be the time for the fourth child to invade the light god world in the last simulation. I seem to remember it was around this time. In the Tianchu universe of the Hun Tian Great Thousand World.